Hey folks, Spade of the Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at the last Super Sentai Gokai-Oh figure. We are today taking a look at Machalcon. Now Machalcon is the Go-Onger offspring of Speedor and Bear RV. Now that I have completely blown your minds, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the figure. As you can already see, the box for this figure is quite large. It came in an even bigger box. Now, I did pick this up from HobbyLink Japan. The cost for this figure overall was about 160 bucks. It was not cheap. If I'm honest, it was one of the most expensive things I've ordered from HobbyLink. And quite honestly, this thing it was a lot more expensive than I initially thought it was going to be because I picked the wrong shipping, but that was my own fault. Normally this will retail for about $105 USD. The box itself, as you can see, does show the figure itself. We do get two different engines, and we get a Ranger key, specifically the Yellow Ranger from Go-Onger. The box itself is highly detailed. I did notice, however, that the cardboard is actually thinner than the cardboard we've gotten for Super Sentai figures in the past. And that's just something I noticed. It's probably having to do with the economy and the way things are selling. But overall, the box is nice, big, and colorful. And it looks good. So let's go ahead and open up the box and take a look at everything. As you can see here, Machalcon does come in, well, he comes in pieces, to be honest. Now, the one thing I did notice when unboxing him, everything is in a big cardboard tray, as typical of all Japanese Super Sentai figures. And then we have this tray with the engine souls and the key and the Ranger key. Though the tape on here feels strong, I just kind of picked it up and the tape just kind of fell apart. It was really weird. The tape actually holding this tray into the box just kind of fell apart on me, which I didn't expect, but it's not that big a deal. It's just something I thought I would warn you about. Now, putting together the figure is quite easy, as is typical of Super Sentai figures. We're going to start off with taking this assembly here. These are the front wheels, and they will plug into the nose cone here. And that just drops right down, like that. These rear parts simply sandwich together, and you just have to line them up and push them together. And then these two pieces combine like that. Now we are left with these two bits. And these two bits are just as easy. You just have to know where to put them. And that is a little bit annoying, as sometimes, well, things just aren't. So this crest is actually part of the spoiler, and we just plug it right on here on the top, and there's actually a notch right here that fits this bit. And then this giant thing in the back is the exhaust, and that plugs in right here with these bits like that. And there we go. We have Machalcon combined and ready to go, or set up and ready to go. He does wheel freely, and there are some sounds which I will show you in a minute as soon as I set up the engine souls into the figure. Now, he does have compartments for two engine souls. The first engine soul compartment is here on the left side, and then the second engine soul is here on the right side, like that. Or you could just push the buttons instead of trying to pull them apart like I did. The other gimmick he has is in this car mode. He can actually go all back to the future on us like that. And he does that once or twice in the show, but it just looks silly. I'm sorry. I get why they think this looks cool, but it really doesn't. So I prefer to have the wheels out. And one thing I do need to make a comment about is the wheels, they are nice rubber. They are rubber, but they're a hard kind of rubber that has a little bit of give. So I'm pretty sure those suckers are going to last. So let's go ahead and we'll unbox the engine souls and throw them in the figure. So now that we've got the engine souls unboxed, both of the engine souls have these nice little tabs to keep the batteries from running down. The batteries in here are 3 watch-size batteries, so they're going to last for a while. Now, the Ranger key, as I said, was the Gold Ranger from Go-Onger, and like all Ranger keys, he does have a key form, which, in all honesty, I'm not a huge fan of the Ranger keys. I think they're kind of silly, but they work. So, one cool thing is you can actually, the Gold Ranger here can drive. There's a little tab right here at the front that you open up. You put the legs out like that, and there is a hole right there. So you could just sit him in there comfortably and have him drive Machalcon. For the engine soul, all we're going to do is push the button down, take the engine soul and make sure the bottom is pointing towards the vehicle and the LED is pointing up, and just slide it into place. Now we do have some lights and sounds gimmicks other than that. There's this little fin or intake right here actually hits the engine soul. And that's all he says. He says 3 different phrases. And that's pretty much it for the gimmicks just in vehicle mode. He really doesn't do much of anything else other than look like a giant Formula 1 or anthropomorphic Formula 1 car. He quite literally doesn't do anything else. Now, when you throw in Gokai-Oh, though, that's where things take a little bit of a change, or a little bit of a turn. So here we have Gokai-Oh and Machalcon. What are we going to do? Well, we are going to combine them in the most ridiculous way possible, naturally. So what we're going to do is take Gokai-Oh and we're going to rip his legs off. And that is all we are going to do to him. Then we're going to take Machalcon, and there are spots up here that look like some things plug into it. Well, that indeed they do. So, yeah, we have a giant driving Pegasus unit, or Pega car unit. And honestly, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is silly on a whole new level. And to be honest, I think this is a little bit silly for Gokaiger, but why am I complaining when there is a giant lion in Gokaiger that does the same thing? So I really don't have room to argue or criticize here. It looks okay. I mean, the overall aesthetic is you've got red and white, and then you've got red, blue, and green. The aesthetic isn't too bad. It's a little weird for my taste. And the reason I did that is because the figure makes no change whatsoever in the sounds. Now, what you're supposed to do is have him deploy his cannon in this form. And just break that off. So yeah, the way the show is, you're supposed to have him deploy his cannon. I think it just looks silly. Now, that's not to say that this is the only way that Machalcon combines with Gokai-Oh, but not only do you need Machalcon, but you also need the Silver Ranger's mecha, which we will show you in just a second. As you already may have guessed, there is more combining zaniness to go around here. So, what are we going to do here? Well, we're going to rip off Gokai-Oh's arms. So we'll take the swords off first, and we'll put them off to the sides, because we will need these again. Then we're going to take this guy's arms, and pull them off and take his body and throw it away. No, I'm not kidding. You do not use the rest of the body for the rest of this review or this mode. And then we'll take blue and green, rip them off, and throw them away as well. So that leaves us with a quadriplegic Gokai-Oh, Machalcon, arms, and some swords. So what I've done here is I've taken the liberty of completely disassembling Machalcon. The one thing I did forget that we don't need is the pirate hat. So, what do we do? Well, we're going to start off by grabbing these rear sections of Machalcon and just kind of standing them up. We can put the wheels back if we choose, but you really are supposed to leave the wheels out like that. Next, you're going to take the whole Gal body and snap that sucker into place. And before we do that, I kind of forgot to add the other engine sole, because in the show, they can only do it with this engine sole. Next, we will put the arms together. Or the arms on. Then, after that, we will take this piece, which was the muffler, fold that up, and that will go directly over that hand. There we go. Next, the zaniness continues with this piece, the front of the car. That this, you turn upside down, plug it in, and it automatically transforms into a giant chest plate. Now, this is, in the show, they leave this plank out, but I like to pull it off and then just fold it up. That, to me, makes it look a little better. Next, you're going to take the front axle, fold the wheels back like that, and then it is supposed to plug in to these spots here. And it does, it's just a little tight. Turning the rest of the figure around, the last bit is we take this part, or the hat, what I'm calling the hat trick, and we are actually going to attach the swords to the back of this hat. I present to you Kanzen Gokai-Oh. The combination of Machalcon, that name is really hard to say, Gojujin, which I completely botched, and Gokai. Anyway, so the figure itself is pretty impressive. I mean, this thing is not nearly the insanity that was the final Shinkenger or G12 formation, but it's still pretty random. I mean, you've got car parts, a galleon, and dinosaur bits. So that is pretty crazy. The unfortunate side effect of this awesome look is that that's about as much posability as you're going to get with this guy. Because of this chest plate here, you can't actually lift the arms up, and you can't really pose the giant fist you have going here. You can close the fist a little bit, and you can even do a little bit of, well, I gotta wind them up, but you can still do the drill attacks and the trident attack, but unfortunately, because of the well, that was unnecessary. And the way I triggered that was the wheel on the back of of Gokai Galleon, which triggers all the other effects. This is the trigger for this guy as well. Now, the one thing I did notice is this little switch here will actually eject anything in the chest area. Don't push that if you don't mean to, like I did. But, so, is this whole thing worth it? I find it a little bit disturbing that the final form of the Gokaigers is based on the 13th Gokai machine, or I'm sorry, Go-On machine from a series that was 2 to 3 series ago. Actually, 3 series ago. I find that just a little bit weird and a little bit disturbing. I get why they did it, but it's not something that I really like all that much. And plus, this final machine was expensive, as I said earlier. Is it worth the price? Not really. For what you're getting, for what you're spending, you're really not getting a whole lot. I really do appreciate the final combination. I actually think this final combination is pretty cool looking, and the final attack is pretty awesome. All it is he does a rocket punch to the face of the monster with this fist. But as I said, for what you're buying, you're really not getting a whole lot. This is the second series that has really disappointed me with the last mecha. Goseiger had the giant flying transforming robot that did absolutely nothing. It did nothing with any of the figures. At least Machalcon does something. Now, would I recommend that you get it? That's really up to you. If you really have to have this thing, go ahead and get it. I would just wait a little while and wait for it to go on sale because, quite honestly, it's just too damn expensive right now.